Right.
You know, a lot of great comics that you kind of brought to light that I either have had and don't have anymore. Like Madman was one, and I'm like, I only have one Madman back. Actually, I went and had it in my hand today, and then I filed it and realized, crap, I'm going to talk to Shelby today. I filed it away because it has an Alex Ross cover.
Oh, does it? Oh, he got so many cool people. He got like Jack Kirby to do like the people who loved Madman were many and very cool. So Madman is 1994. I mean, he is an artist's artist. Like, you know, people in the industry loved working on this. So he really made a lot of friends, I think, with his personality, and Laura's also super nice.
So here's my big thing with Madman. If you guys want to know, my summary of Madman is, if you want to just have something that's just fun, you want a superhero thing and just have some fun, Madman could be for you.
Exactly. I mean, I think isn't it? It's kid friendly, right? I don't think
it's anything that's racy, really, or no. Like Bone is the other one. Jeff Smith's Bone is another one of those. Like they're just fun. I think they're kid friendly. I don't think there's anything racy or anything like that in them.
There's different language in it, and there's a really cool flip book. I don't know if you can see it, but in the corner,
in the bottom,
he dances. Sorry, you can't really tell on the camera, but there's a cool flip book.
Hold your graphic novels up so people can get a better look at like the design on them a little bit, and I'm going to make it bigger. It's definitely unique. I also will tell you too, if I were to go in a comic shop and I asked about Madman and they don't know what I'm talking about, it's definitely a litmus test of who you're dealing with.
And he loves his sweet girlfriend. I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background. We
don't mind. Just add some realism to the show.
He's like,
yeah, it's how would you sum up the general premise of Madman for folks? I hear the Shelby first.
Yeah, I think what I had kind of tried to do in the video was just say he's a really sweet Frankenstein monster who has a yo-yo. He loves his girlfriend and he likes David Bowie. And there's a whole cast of fun, weird, wild characters. Like there's a mad scientist and there's a band and there's like there's kind of weird monsters. Oh, what's wrong, buddy? He's upset. But yeah, he dreams about his sweet girlfriend. He like writes her poetry. And at the same time, he's fighting crime and he's fighting monsters. And it's just fun, you know? It's campy. And you can tell he's probably looking at it himself. That's definitely like.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, campy.
Yeah. Yeah, and then here's a shot of when he takes off his mask. So he's dead.
Yep, there you go. You get like an actual creature underneath of what he actually is, you know, the dead version of himself. It's fun and different, interesting. I'm actually shocked that no one's done any adaptation work with it or anything like that. Like it hasn't gone anywhere, and I'm not quite sure I know why. I think if I had to ask him, if I had Mike Allred, maybe I could ask, like, what's the story? Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I wonder if he has like a story where something didn't go, or they had it worked out or something. I don't really know. But he's a cool fighter. There is a fair amount of action as well in these. It's not like it's all just a bunch of silly camp. It's a fair amount of action. Yeah. And I think we talked about it too with some of the other stuff we've loved. Like fun characters, like interesting, different characters, not like a bunch of cookie cutter stuff. It's all very interesting, unique.
Yeah. Here's this crazy guy with this like unibrow, and he's like, you welcher. You know, it has some, you know, campy 50s language in it that I think is funny. He saves a guy by, you know, using his
slingshot. Look at that.
His slingshot.
Got a little slingshot. That's awesome.
So yeah.
So you credited a lot of your coworkers to find stuff like this.
Yeah, I did. And the guy who I eventually married has an amazing taste. You have to talk to him because I think you guys would really hit it off. He knows a lot more than me. I know that you guys have similar taste, and he was the one who said, "Oh, if you like this, read Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, and if you like this."
Okay.
He recommended Miracle Man to me.
Oh my gosh, it's gold right there, baby. We'll do a whole, we had to come back around to that. That's a whole, we'll need a half hour for that, because that's a special. Well, actually, we should do a whole stream just on Alan Moore stuff, because Alan Moore is a unique. I always have like nicknames for him, and nothing ever sticks. Like, he's like the weird old guy that's eating bugs in Hellraiser, right?
Living on his mountain, like in his
I know.
suit.
Yeah. And it's like, he transforms into a winged monster and flies away to write something else, and it kind of fits. I gotta be honest. He's like, he would have a name like Wicker Man or something. He would have some crazy name too, though. But
yeah, right.
All right, so show up that one. That was called The Dreamer.
So and then this was the first comic book that I was like, I really didn't understand what comic books could be. And this really brought me into Eisner's work, so I started to read some of the spirit. But so Eisner was really working at the beginning of the comic industry in general. And sorry about that. You can see there's like no panels. It's very artistic.
It's 1937, right? I think it's
yeah.
It's the 30s for sure.
So he's got these beautiful, floating panels. It's very cinematic. And I didn't realize that this was about the beginning of the comic book industry. So I was able to read it as its own story. And then
this predates pretty much of all of our capes, right? This predates all that kind of stuff. This is Eisner created, hence the reason there's an Eisner Award. This is the person that is laying the foundation for the foundation, right? So he is literally like creating an industry of saying, what if we were to illustrate these stories? And for me, I think what Eisner did for me is it made me realize that there was a way, because I learned to read out of a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
And I used comic books as a way to help encourage my kids and try to stimulate imagination and do different. One of them turned into an artist. He went to art school.
Oh.
And the Eisner stuff, which I don't think I have any left, I would love to try to maybe get an inexpensive graphic novel or something to just kind of revisit that feel. I love the spirit. I love spirit, and I loved also I love the shadow. I thought those two comics were so freaking cool. I don't know. It's just, there's something interesting about the mystery and the intrigue, and I don't know, the groundedness. And I'm a Batman guy. What do you want? It's all down my same lane. It's all down the same lane. So
that's exactly it. And when you read about Jack Kirby is in the book, but his name is changed to like Jack King, because he's the king. And there's so many cool things. Like, I guess it was common for them to be shook down by actual mafia guys. Like they would go into the studio and demand that they buy a certain product or whatever, and just really like harass them. When it was Kirby, who was the shortest of the bunch, he would jump off of his seat, and he would let him have it. He'd be like, "You guys get out of here! I don't want to see your face in here again." And he would scare him off. And that's it.
He's a war hero.
Yeah,
he's a war hero. So Kirby was not taking any crap from anybody. It's like, look, if I came back from this war, do you think you scare me? I mean, the stories are legendary. Like, this dude.
Yeah. He wasn't he in Patton's army?
Like the stories are just incredible. Like, you're like, this is like the man's man. This is the John Wayne before John Wayne. He just came in this little tiny Jewish body, and you're like, holy cow! What do you mean he did? Yeah, he stood up to like MADMAN. Like, no, you don't belong here. You need to leave. You need to leave. I want to see your face in here again. And they're like, all right. So
cool.
Because I think when we talk about Kirby, the one thing for me is he lived a life. So when he brought his work, not only did you have the work ethic element, but you also had like this wanting to do something, wanting to have purpose, wanting to have value and things like that, because he lived and worked through so many challenges. And sometimes when I read modern stuff, And I really do blame some of the computers. I really do blame the fact that we're not drawing as much by hand, and a lot more stuff is done
Sure.
on screens, that it becomes it feels very disposable. It feels very, replaceable, maybe is a better word for it too. By people who don't necessarily have that heavy, that gravity filled life experience of tragedy and
Yeah.
witnessing death and horror and chaos and whatever. And
Yeah.
it comes in cycles. I can't explain Miller. I can't explain some other folks who don't necessarily have those on a resume.
Yeah.
You get genius in all kinds and all shapes and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Well, actually, wasn't Miller, wasn't he like robbed a couple times, and it really frightened him? Like he thought he was going to die, and that was one of the things that kind of affected him. I remember hearing about this, that he was mugged in a really terrible way, and he was like really, really shaken up by it. So it was like a near death experience. So hold on,
Yeah, and I think that you're fine. You're fine. I'm not just cameos of the dogs. It's okay.